Hello and welcome. I'd like to share about an energy practice called Reiki. It is a gentle self-care spiritual practice for connecting with one's true self. And this practice has been in existence since the early 1900s. It originated in Japan and was created as a form of self-development. The understanding of Reiki is that as someone self-practices, one's life force, spiritual energy balances, and changes may occur. My name is Georgiana, and I am a longtime Reiki teacher and practitioner. This video, the intention of it is to briefly introduce Reiki, including results of some studies, and then a demonstration of part of what I do for my Reiki practice. There are today many variations of Reiki and differing ideas on what it is, how it works, even how to offer a session. Not everyone practices Reiki the same way, so I'm sharing with you about my practice. I've mentioned Reiki is a self-practice, and a side benefit of that is to be able to offer it to another, whether it's a person, an animal, or a plant. There isn't a governing body for the practice, although states and countries may request professional licensure. It can be offered in person as well as remote, and anyone can take a class to learn to practice for themselves. It is considered a spiritual practice, and by definition, Reiki is two Japanese words, rei for spiritual and ki for energy. It is also translated as life force energy, universal life force energy. And if we reflect that everyone has spiritual energy, life force energy, then the practice of Reiki supports balancing that energy when it is unbalanced. Reiki is said to go to the source of what is out of balance. The practitioner merely offers Reiki to self or another, and it is the option of the one receiving to receive the energy. This is not a, I can fix this activity. Instead, it is a surrendering to alignment with one's true self, present, relaxed, and centered. I'd like to take a few moments now for definitions. The autonomic nervous system has two branches. The sympathetic nervous system governs fight, flight, and the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, that relaxation that we always hope for. So after many years, I can finally say that studies on Reiki are progressing, and relaxation appears to be the primary benefit. And that's so important because as the body-mind relaxes, that parasympathetic rest digest, then the body's innate wisdom is in a better position to bring about positive changes because resources are no longer distributed to fight-flight status. I'd like to read a couple lines from a study published in the Journal of Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine. Physiologically, this means that Reiki is effective in activating the parasympathetic nervous system, measured as heart rate, reduced blood pressure, and increased heart rate variability. And that last phrase means increased relaxation. William Rand, a prominent Reiki teacher, co-authored a paper on a study with the following results, and I quote, "The results from this large-scale multi-site effectiveness trial suggest that a single session of Reiki improves multiple variables related to physical and psychological health." And some of the outcome measurements were pain, anxiety, tiredness, nausea, appetite, depression, and overall well-being. In 2003, Radiology Today, a medical publication, had on its magazine cover Reiki, rising star in complementary cancer care. Hartford Hospital in Connecticut has been offering Reiki in their integrative medicine department since 1998, and they have monitored outcomes for pregnant moms and babies, noting that as the mom receives Reiki and relaxes, so also does the baby. Now, I'd like to talk about something that maybe you've even experienced. Have you ever gone for a massage and it feels great? The next day, the muscles are not so happy. The day after that, you feel wonderful, better than when you went in for the massage. So this is commonly referred to as a healing response. And it's that period of time that the body goes through adjustment from the therapy that it has received. And this can happen in many modalities. It can happen in Reiki. And it doesn't happen every time. It doesn't happen with everyone. And even if it happens for someone once, it may never happen for them again. I suggest that you seek a qualified practitioner. And if you're interested in receiving a Reiki session, talk to them about that aspect. So that's one way to receive Reiki, is to see someone who offers it. And another way is for someone to take a class, and then it's available as a practice, and the offering can be to self and to family. And I will tell you that kids I've encountered love Reiki. So what does a practice consist of? Well, first, I practice from the Japanese perspective. And within that perspective, there are 5 elements. The first element is breathing techniques. This is being aware of the breath, going inward, connecting with the body. Might include some breathing visualization meditation, breathing, subtle movement. 2, when taking a class, there are reijus. And these are blessings which are offered between teacher and student. And the intention with the reiju, which is a Japanese word, the intention with the reiju is to receive what's needed. And that's without definition. We don't decide this person needs this, that person needs this. It is to receive what is needed in order to bring the energies of the person more into balance. Number 3, if someone chooses to go beyond that foundational class, then additional classes offer focused tools to work with. 4, the offering with hands. And here we use hand positions and very gently either touch the body or it is offered off the body. In hand positions, there's a variety to use around the body, and Reiki can be received fully clothed. Number 5, the daily precepts. These are codes of practice. So I am going to take a few moments and prepare, and then I will reflect on the precepts. And this is a demonstration of part of what I do for practice. I'm going to include in it, not necessarily, it's not really a Reiki technique. It's a common energy exercise, which can assist people with gathering energy, which is an aspect of Qigong. Perhaps you've heard of that. Slow movement, awareness of breath, perhaps some visualization. And Qigong is the mother of Tai Chi. Maybe you've heard of that one. Some people feel energy doing this exercise, some do not. Some try to talk themselves out of noticing the sensations that are there for them to notice. And for me, I stay present and just notice sensations without trying to define them or figure out what they mean, because they're just sensations. So to begin, I make sure that I'm comfortable, whether I'm seated or reclining, and I begin to notice my breath. As I do that, it takes me inward, and I don't have to change the breath at all. I just notice as I breathe in and as I breathe out. And after I've done that for a few moments, I bring my hands up in front of my body. I'm lifting mine up rather high today so that you can see them. Usually I have them lower around the belly button area. And I synchronize my breath with my movement. And this is that energy exercise I talked about, gathering energy. So as I inhale, I open just a few inches, and exhaling, I come closer together. When I do this for a period of time, I place subtle attention on my hands and notice any sensations that might be there for me to notice. And if I don't notice sensations, that's okay too. Absolutely okay. Some people become aware of some warmth. Some people feel like they are moving through water. Some people feel a magnetic push-pull. After I've done that for a few minutes, I bring them to my body for a hand position. Today, I'm going to do it over my heart. And then I recite the precepts. And there are 5 precepts with a leading idea. And in practice, I would give time to reflect on each one, to review it, to consider it. How is that being applied in my life currently? And if I get any insights, then I might write those down and journal about that later. So now I will begin with the precepts. They start with just for today, which is a really great one. So brings me to the moment here. Am I being here today? Am I somewhere else? What does it mean to be in the now? And then the precepts: do not anger, do not worry, be grateful. And sometimes this is be humble, be honest, be compassionate to self and others. And again, I would take time between each one. If I had 5 minutes, of course, it would move a little faster. If I have 15 minutes, then I would take that opportunity to reflect. When I'm complete, I take another conscious breath and slowly open my eyes if they have been closed. So Reiki teachers are sometimes called Reiki Masters, and master means teacher. To me, this means they teach the practice. It doesn't mean perfection. I make mistakes. Yet through applied practice, it is hoped that there will be learning and growth, further balancing and connecting to true self. I do not consider myself an expert on Reiki, as there is always a new level of growth. So I am forever a student of the practice. Now, the best book on Reiki, in my opinion, is The Japanese Art of Reiki. This is a wonderful book by Franz Stein. And to me, it offers a presentation, the Japanese perspective, which is the closest representation I have found of what was probably originally practiced in the 1900s when Dr. Usui founded the practice. It's easy to read, it's full of information. I highly recommend it. We've covered some foundational ideas on Reiki, including some studies that are supporting Reiki and a demonstration of part of my practice. I hold loving intention for you and your family to have a wonderful life journey, as well as an invitation to you to consider an energy lifestyle by learning more about the ways we can support ourselves and our families' connection and well-being through energy practices.